Robinhood has just announced their joint accounts, and I think in theory they're a fantastic idea and they have a lot of potential, but they're also missing 6 critical features that need to be addressed for them to be as good as a standard Robinhood account. So today I'm going to show you exactly what Robinhood has put together for the joint accounts, what their features and benefits are, and lay out what needs to change with these in the future for them to become as useful as they can be. Hey, I'm Brendan, and my wife and I are set to retire 20 years early after becoming millionaires last year at 37 years old, and I make videos for you here on YouTube 3 to 5 times per week to help explain personal finance and investing in logical ways. The reason I make so many Robinhood videos isn't because I'm sponsored by them, it's because people watch them. If you look at my analytics for the last month, 5 out of my last top 10 videos are Robinhood related, or they have Robinhood in them. And I actually asked to be a part of the Robinhood affiliate program, but they said they're not doing that right now and they didn't accept me. But you being here is all the support I need. So let's get into this joint investing account situation with Robinhood. The point of these joint accounts is that you and a partner can manage your finances together. You're actually going to share assets. It gives you a collaborative center location for your investments. And so the point is that it gives you both equal access and it gives you joint right of survivorship. So if anybody dies, the other person immediately gets full access to the account. And I think as a foundational plan that you can do with your partner, coming together with your money is a very intimate kind of step to say, not only are we going to share our lives together, but we're literally going to share our money together. And that level of transparency can be really nice too, because then everyone understands what's happening with the money. Robinhood says that you can use this to save for a child's education, putting away money for a down payment on a house, or working hard to build and leave a financial legacy. My legacy is called driving the race car to get a delicious burrito and have a fun weekend. So what are the official benefits of a Robinhood joint account? Well, number one, you keep all of your investments in one place. So Robinhood says that you can switch from your individual investments to your joint account with a tap. And the way you do that is if you're an existing customer, you can create a joint account with your partner and then enable shared access to manage your investments. And then one of the benefits of doing that, Robinhood claims that you get increased purchasing power. So does that mean that they're actually going to change what they allow you to do because now there's 2 people involved, maybe 2 incomes involved, 2 different bank accounts linked to it? I don't know. Or are they just saying in theory, if you've got 2 people feeding into one account, then maybe you've got more purchasing power? They're not very clear on that detail. They are clear though on certain gold member benefits that you get whenever you go to this joint account. You still get a 1% deposit boost. So if you're not familiar with this is where if you deposit money into the account, whether you invest it or not, over the span of 24 months, you'll get an extra 1% on that money. So if I put in $100 today, then over the course of the next 2 years, I'll get a total that will amount to $1. And then also, if you've got uninvested cash, you get 5% APY on it. So if we just zoom out for a second, to me, this seems extremely logical. Why would they not have had joint accounts before this? It just seems like something that only makes sense. Like a lot of people share their finances already. Why would Robinhood not have offered this? I guess I didn't even realize that they didn't offer it, but they really should have. And then the other logical part of this is, of course, the gold member benefits should extend to the joint account, right? Like if I'm paying for gold, why wouldn't it be part of that? But potentially what they're trying to point out to us is that not both people have to be actually subscribed to gold to get the benefits. If one person has gold, you get the benefits of gold, or at least some of them, in this joint account. So here's how to open a joint investing account with Robinhood. First off, both people involved have to have an individual investing account with Robinhood that's in good standing before you apply. Step 2, one of you will actually start the process. So whenever you're logged into your account, you'll go to Account, then Add Account, and then click Joint Investing. And then you just follow the on-screen instructions to complete an application. Step 3 is when one of you starts the process, one of the other person, the co-owner will get an invitation to then complete their part of the application. So they do that themselves. And then step 4 is after you both submit your application, you'll get an email and it either confirms that everything is done, you've got the joint account, or if they need to, they'll ask you for more information. Now, if they need that more information, it could take them 5 to 7 days to review that and get back to you. But overall, the application process seems simple enough. You just might have to wait a little while for them to verify stuff. Now let's talk about exactly what the Robinhood joint investing account can and can't do, because it can do some things, but it's missing out on a bunch of features that need to be added later on. So it can invest in securities. It can invest with margin. You've got Robinhood Gold benefits. You've got brokerage cash sweep program like you would with your individual investing account. So that's good. You've got standard, instant, and debit card transfers. So that's very nice. You can set up recurring deposits. You can do asset transfers, but on their website, they say that you can only do these with the Account Customer Account Transfer Service, which I'm not familiar with whatsoever. If I click into the FAQ for that ACATS system, it says you can choose to either transfer a full account from some other investing company or a partial account, and that they can only accept assets from individual cash, margin brokerage accounts, or traditional or Roth IRA accounts. They don't accept anything from trusts, joint businesses, or custodial accounts. Now let's bookmark that transfer situation, because coming up here in the things that it can't do, there's a specific kind of transfer that I think could be a problem. But the last thing it can do is stock lending, if you want to do that. I made a video specifically about stock lending through M1 Finance. I can put that at the end of this video if you want, but stock lending across the board is something that can be a little questionable depending on who you talk to. So you can opt in or out of that if you want to. You can turn it on and off within the settings, but you can do that with the joint investing account. Then now the rest of these features aren't available yet with the Robinhood joint account, but they claim that they're coming soon. Also, the initial launch isn't available for Robinhood UK or international customers. So that's a big hanging open opportunity that everybody overseas who's not in the US doesn't have it at all. But even those of us in the US don't have the following features. We don't have dividend reinvestment. That's annoying. We don't have wire transfers. We can't transfer to our Robinhood spending account from the joint investing account. So I think the Robinhood spending account is only in reference to their old debit card. I don't believe this applies to the new Robinhood credit card. Otherwise, I would expect them to use different language here. So if you're bound and determined to use that old debit card system, you definitely can. There's nothing wrong with it. But just so you know, you can't transfer to the spending account from the joint investing account. And here's the information about the transfer that I think could be a problem. It says in-kind asset transfer between your Robinhood IRA or individual investing account to the joint investing account is not available. So for example, let's say that you wanted to have something that was in your individual investing account transferred over to your joint investing account. This is what I want to do if my wife and I did this. I would just want to take my whole account that I have as an individual investing account and just move that over and make it be a joint account. I'd probably want to do it with our IRA too, because what's mine is hers. We're sharing everything. That's what they say you can't do. If you're not familiar with that term of an in-kind transfer, it doesn't mean that I would take all the things I've invested in and sell them and then move cash over. What it's saying is you're actually keeping the stuff that you're investing in and you're just moving it from brokerage account to brokerage account. That's what they say we can't do right now with this. I think that's a huge bummer, because then the only other way that I can actually have a joint account with any meaning is selling all these securities, creating a taxable event where I've taken this profit as far as the government's concerned anyway, and then reinvesting it with a newer, higher cost basis in this account that I share with my wife. Otherwise, they need to add this feature so I can swap it over and not have that same problem. At least I'm assuming that's the cost basis handling that it would have. I don't know for sure, so we'll have to update this in the future whenever we find out. You also can't do options investing with the joint account, and you can't set up recurring investments or orders. So it's kind of funny, right? You can have recurring deposits into the account, but you can't have recurring investments. So I would just be essentially building up cash in the account. They don't call this a joint savings account. They call it a joint investing account, and yet we can't do recurring investments. Kind of odd. It feels like it's a bit of a half-baked thing. In the case of chocolate chip cookies, half-baked is totally fine. Give it to me half-baked, no baked, all the way baked. Any form of baked with chocolate chip cookie, totally approved, but not with an investing account rollout, a feature like this. It needs to be, I would say, at least 80% baked. Opening it without one or two of these things, not a big deal. I can live without wire transfers and transfers to my spending account or whatever. But you've got to have things like recurring investments and DRIP and in-kind asset transfers. It's just silly to not have that right now. Also, just so we're clear, you can't trade crypto in a joint account at this time. You can only trade securities. And that's like a little dig on Robinhood to claim that crypto is separate than securities, because I think they're getting sued right now because some people are claiming right now that their crypto is a security, but that's a little inside baseball for you. And nowhere in any of this FAQ information do they say anything about added cost or another membership fee or both people having to have Robinhood Gold. So from what I can tell, this is a free value add. It's an option for you if you kind of want to start fresh with somebody else, or the option that we have that I'm probably going to do is wait until they add in-kind transfers. I would love to share this account with my wife, let her see everything, have there be more transparency there, because I don't know about you, but I hear about in a lot of relationships, there's sort of one person who's like the money person. Obviously in my relationship, that's me. I'm here with you doing this every single day. I'm a nerd about this. I love it. So what that can sometimes do is create a little bit of a gap in the relationship between what's happening in the finances and how it's being communicated and how are we doing and what does this mean and what's our plan. And so I really like the idea of a joint investing account because it adds that level of transparency there. And yes, my wife could be logged in on my account too, but having the joint rights of survivorship keeps it really clean. It's a more accurate representation of there being two people involved than it just being either me with one login and her using my login, or me setting her up as a beneficiary or something like that. Like if I die, the joint investing account I think is the ideal. It's just not ready to go yet. And now that Robinhood's done this, it makes me want to go investigate a bunch of other services now and ask the joint investing account question. Does M1 Finance and Vanguard and Acorns and Fennel and Interactive Brokers and Ally and Webull and Fidelity and E-Trade, does everybody have joint accounts? Or is this like a fairly new thing? I literally don't know. It's funny because now that I've heard about this, I'm like demanding features, even though up until now I haven't been demanding this, but I really like the idea of it. I really have latched onto it despite it being fairly imperfect and half-baked. I think it's a great idea. But now I need to investigate where the best joint investing account is. If you want me to make a dedicated video about that, the best joint investing account service out there, then let me know in a comment and put the word joint. Use that as creatively as you want. Otherwise, if if you're curious to learn more about the basics of investing in the stock market, then I've made a class for you, and it's not going to provide any proprietary information whatsoever. It will just save you time researching. That's the whole point of taking an online class, or a class really of any kind. You could learn it on your own. The class is just collated information for you. So check it out if you want. Otherwise, here's the M1 Finance video that I mentioned earlier about stock lending and the kind of pitfalls of doing that. Thank you, members, for supporting me as always, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.